Thank you for being on this spiritual journey with me. I am thrilled that so many of you have sent me your commitment to your 40 days until Easter. And these commitments were majorly about meditation. That touched my heart because you know that that's your pathway to the higher self is through meditation. So thank you for your commitment to your higher self, your commitment to your spiritual growth, and your commitment to your family and loved ones to do this for yourself so that you can be a better parent, a better friend, and a better spouse. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of your heart's desire that you have put on that paper. And I hold it close to my heart because I know that we're all in this together and we're all ready to move our consciousness. 40 days it is, and we're into that 40-day period now. And we've had a week to practice what we decided to commit to these 40 days. So you are finding out that this time that you've committed to growth, if it's to read a spiritual passage, look at the Spiritual Power Tool book and use one of the power tools. A lot of you said that you were going to focus on one of the power tools. And it was so fascinating that the power tool a lot of you were interested in was the Spiritual Thermometer. And I thought, yay, that's great, because that Spiritual Thermometer really helps you to focus on where you are each and every day, where you are in consciousness. So thank you for using that Spiritual Thermometer to understand where you are in consciousness day in, day out. I can remember when I first designed that Spiritual Thermometer, way back when, many, many years ago, I put it in my refrigerator so that I could figure out where I was when I got up in the morning. And sometimes I found out that I was definitely below a 5, and other days I found out I was very up on the higher levels of 8 or 9, sometimes even hitting 10. So check out the Spiritual Thermometer if you haven't already done so, because that is a good parameter and a way of figuring out where you are on this journey. Well, we're beginning our quest. I think about this journey, if you could just picture a ladder. Say you have a ladder before you that goes up to the 10th floor. You are beginning to climb the ladder, and each step of the ladder takes you up higher and higher and higher. But as you're becoming more comfortable with taking these steps, you are going to be taking higher and higher steps. And you know, if you're out, if that ladder is on a building, you know that the higher you get, the wind is stronger and it's easier to topple. And that's true with the spiritual journey. As you get higher up, it's easier to want to go back to your old way of thinking, the old way that you've been, say, processing your life, because it's more comfortable. But we always need to go to that higher place, because by going there, we're going to get more understanding of who we are, because there's many dimensions, many, many steps. I call it the spiritual renewal. We need to spiritually renew ourselves every single day of our life. To wake up in the morning and say, I'm renewing my spiritual commitment to myself. I am going to do that which is mine to do so that I will more comfortably, and I want to use the word comfortably, able to take the steps I need to take up this ladder of consciousness to God consciousness. You know, one of the most important things you can do right now is to connect your will with the will of God. Because God designed us, each and every one of us, to be connected to our higher power through the desire of our heart to move into greater awareness of who we are. Now Jesus, he grew spiritually very quickly. He evolved very, very fast on the spiritual ladder, if you will. So he was ready to receive the higher energies and get to know more about who he was and what his mission was, like I talked to you about last week. His mission to come down and bring new understanding to the world of form. Because we live in a world of form. We live in this world, and I call it the third dimension. We are all in a form, and this form is here so that we can move in consciousness, we can experience more, and we can learn to use our intelligence in the proper way, and then melding our intelligence with our intuition. Now, I am going to be talking to you about all these things as we go on through this next 40 days. We're going to talk about our intuitive self, but today, I want you to think about one thing, and that is your will. Your will. What is your will? Is it connected to the will of God? God wills us to move forward. We have all the energy of the universe to move forward. I will to will the will of God. What that statement means is I'm going to take my will, my free will, and I'm going to connect it with the will of God, which is to awaken us. So if we are saying, I will to will the will of God, we are taking both of those wills and putting them together, and we're going to move much quicker with the will of God. Because that's a powerhouse. We've connected ourselves to a great powerhouse that knows how to lead us and help us to become more aligned with our true self, our true nature, our true intelligence, our intuition. It brings us into alignment with all of that and empowers us. So when we have our puny little will, which is, oh, I want a new car, or I want a better relationship, I have all these little desires. But when I say, I'm going to let go of all these puny desires, and I'm going to desire to be connected with the will of God. I will to will the will of God. Because I want to connect myself to the powerhouse these 40 days. I want to have a momentum. And when you make that commitment, you are saying to the universe, I'm ready to connect myself to the higher energies of this planet, of the cosmic planet of consciousness evolving. When I'm committed to do that, what happens here is we are empowering ourselves to take our free will, because we have it, and connect it with God's willingness to support and love us and to boost us forward. So this week, if you will, your will, and connect to the God part of yourself. to move you forward. You have the same DNA in you as God. And God can connect and bring you forth, wanting to do that, empowering you to do that. So this week, if you will, as you meditate, as you work with the spiritual power tools, whatever thing you're doing special to add to your spiritual growth, also think about taking your will and connecting it to a powerhouse of will that will awaken you and take you on the journey. So for a moment or two, will you gather with me and just let us have a short prayer meditation here. So just relax here for a moment and close your eyes. And we are going to just connect our will with the will of God. We are willing, and we are able. We are ready to make that commitment deeper than we've ever made before. Because we're wiser spiritual beings now than we've ever been in any other incarnation. And the great cosmic consciousness that created this whole planet, all the stars, the infinite intelligence, which is part of who we are, knows how to take us up that ladder, step by step, step by step. And when the ladder gets a little rough and windblown, we can hang on because we have behind us the great will of God, that we don't lose our step and fall backwards. I will. The will of the infinite God presence, the absolute. I will. The will of God. Take me the next step possible in my evolution. And we are grateful. We are so grateful to be on this path together. Amen. So take a deep breath. Come back to the presence of your room. And I look forward to being with you next week as we journey together on this magnificent, triumphant path that we're on. You'll never be sorry. You will never be sorry. You willed your will to God's will. Bye-bye for now.